Washington taking on his former team tonight. And in the offseason, Carolina placed the franchise tag on Norman and then pulled it away, letting him become a free agent. Norman said last week that he felt backstabbed. Well, Hodge, in the house. How we feeling? How we living?
Living good. What's going on,
brother?
It's cold outside.
Oh, it is cold.
So it's good to be in.
It is. Says the girl in the tank top in the winter. Stephen A., what do you expect from Josh tonight?
Well, listen, I don't think he's going to have a spectacular game because I don't think that the Carolina Panthers are going to be throwing the ball 50 or 60 times. I could be wrong about that, but I think that they'll be smart enough to attack others, not him. I think they'll be smart enough to try to run the football effectively, and we'll see what happens. But is he going to make some noise? I don't think there's any question because bottom line is Carolina isn't that good this year. Kelvin Benjamin has not been overly impressive to me at all. It's like, first of all, he's a big target, but he's not the greatest route runner, which you can elaborate on. And there are times where I dare say I've questioned his effort just watching him. I could be
only
wrong
on
about
every
that.
play.
Yeah. I'm just saying I've watched it. I've watched it. I don't want to do that to him because that's the ultimate indictment. But there have been times where I said, "Damn, he could have ran that route harder. He could have showed me a little bit more effort." And I think that Josh Norman's going to be out there to prove something. He's going to be playing gung ho. But to me, I look at Mr. Gettleman. And my biggest thing, Merrill, is this. You made the offer and you took it off the table. Had you made the offer and said, take it or leave it, that's our final offer, that would have been different. The fact that you took it off the table before he had an opportunity to accept it or not, you had a problem with this man trying to maximize his marketability, which I found egregious, especially since he didn't have a backup.
I agree. Now, listen, I don't think there's any player that, as a free agent, and rather how you leave, you want to stick it to the other team. Especially if they didn't want you, they didn't make a great effort. And to document what you just said, there's no doubt Josh Norman. Now, what the problem will be, Josh Norman's emotions. Controlled in this one. And do not think for a second tonight the Carolina Panthers aren't going to go after him. I actually disagree with you. Yeah. I believe they're going to say, listen, we're going to show you why we got rid of Josh Norman or we didn't want to pay him the type of money. I will not be surprised if they don't go after him tonight.
And therefore, I think he's going to have a really big game because I think Carolina's going to be playing from behind. You see the receivers they got, in Washington, and Kirk Cousins good enough to get it done with those guys if you can't get pressure on them. And Josh Norman is highly motivated, and he is an excellent player. Whether or not you thought he's worth the money, apparently this year it appears maybe he was. He's an excellent player. He is going to have a big game, I think, Merrill, and I think he's going to be loud about it as he's having it.
There's no doubt. Now, it'll be interesting to find out because they moved Josh around more this year than, say, what they do with the Carolina Panthers. The Redskins have used him. So it'll be interesting if they don't match him up or who they match him up with. That will be, I think, first of all, it could be an indictment on the Carolina Panthers of what the Washington Redskins or Josh Norman feel about their receiving core.
Any chance the Panthers win, you think?
No,
there's always a chance.
No. It's the NFL is a chance. The NFL is a chance. But the
Redskins is a chance.
I will say this to you. Let me put it to y'all this way.
All right.
The Redskins must win this game. You're vying for a playoff spot. All that chatter that you did early in the season, you lose a game like this, I'm going to have a problem with the Redskins. Yeah. You got to win this game.
Well,
you got to win this game.
If you lose it, not only is that in question, but you're going to get Josh Norman questioned.
Especially leaving that front four kind of soft. If you're Washington, it's a
lot of questions.
It's been that kind of year for Carolina, though. Isn't this the kind of game they lose? Right? It's just been a bad year all around. They go in, they face the player that they let go and everything, and they get beaten. He has a bad game. He rubs it in their face. That's been the story of Carolina this entire season.
Yeah. Well, listen, if they do it right, the Redskins are loaded offensively. There's nothing they can't do. So they should run this game, but.
And we can also
That's why they line
a
them up.
strong outfit from Cam Newton post-game. Merrill, thank you so much for being with us.
Good
We appreciate you. Coming up next.
Goff takes a snap, drops straight back, pressure, pocket collapses, ball's loose, and the loose ball is recovered by the Saints.
Our front office is like a high school,
Someone from upper management called me and said that I make the players feel uncomfortable about some of the stuff I've said on the radio and about they don't want me on the sidelines.
You can't be critical and then come back and and ask for this and ask for that.
I told them on the phone, I will never attend another game of Ram function as long as you're head coach, and I stand by that.
Goff 3 steps, looks to the ring, it's intercepted. Deion Jones keeps his feet, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown for Debo.
Some breaking news out of Los Angeles. The Rams have officially parted ways with head coach Jeff Fisher.
This is solely a performance-related issue.
Well, this is an understatement. It's been a rough year for the Rams in their return to Los Angeles. They've lost 9 of their last 10 games and fired head coach Jeff Fisher. Here to talk all about it is a future Hall of Famer here, and Eric Dickerson. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you very much. Not future, Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Excuse me.
That's okay.
You're there.
Present.
You know
Hall of
what
Fame.
threw me off there? I had future of football that I wanted to ask you about in LA. So I want to focus on that. So after losing to the Seahawks, Tavon Austin talked about how difficult it is to play in LA. We know how difficult it is to play in the NFL, period. But the city of Los Angeles, the hype, the hoopla, the expectations.
Well, you know, when the Rams came to LA, I kept telling everyone that this team has to win here. This is a city that's all about winners. It's glitz, it's glamour, it's Hollywood. You can't come here going 4-12, 6-10. That's not going to work in LA. I mean, that may work someplace else. And I kept saying it over and over. They've got to win. Or if they don't win, they have to be have an exciting product. And they've really done neither one.
Well, first of all, I'd like to take a moment to applaud you because I think you deserve to be applauded. The reason why is because that phone call that you got from Jeff Fisher one day clearly upset him, and all you were doing was telling the truth and bringing attention that desperately needed to have attention brought to it, which was the Los Angeles Rams stink because their record stinks because their head coach just wasn't very damn good anymore and he had too much of an opportunity. I want you to take us back to that phone call that you received from Jeff Fisher and what that was like for you.
Well, first of all, I was invited out to the groundbreaking ceremony. That's when I come out. I said, sure, I'll come out. And I'd heard the grumbling already. So when I got there, I could tell it was kind of a little tension between some of the Rams staff and myself, but no big deal. Mm-hmm. So after I got ready to leave, I asked the guy, I said, hey, what about those passes I asked you for my friend? But now keep in mind, I didn't really need them. I just wanted to see, was it true?
Right.
You know? So they said, well, Eric, I'm not sure. You know, we have the media department, you know, they said some of the stuff you said about the team. I said, huh? I said, well, am I lying? Well, no, you're not lying, but you know, I said, well, he said, I'll tell you what, someone's going to call you. Jeff Fisher or Les Snead will call you. I said, okay. I said, I welcome the call, no problem. So I left. I got home. I'm talking to my best friend, Charles Drayton, on the phone. And he said, Dick, you lying. They going to call you? I said, you're supposed to call me. And I'm talking to him for about 20 minutes. All of a sudden, I see a 314 area code. I said, Drayton, let me call you back. He said, man, I wish I was on this call. Yeah. So I answered. So I said, hello. Hey, Eric, this is Jeff Fisher. I said, how you doing, Jeff? He said, I'm good. He said, look, I'm going to get right at this. He says, you know, I don't really have time for this, but I'm just going to say this. You know, you're not going to be talking about my football team, my coaches, and then expecting things from the team. As long as I'm head coach, we're not doing anything for you. We're not supporting anything you do. And I'm just letting you know that right now. As long as I'm head coach, that's not going to happen. You make my team uncomfortable, you make the players uncomfortable, and you make the coaches uncomfortable when you come on the sideline. So that's just not going to happen. So I just want to let you know, and blah, blah, blah. He goes on. I didn't say one word. I just listened. So when he finished, I said, okay. And I think he thought he was going to hang up.
Yeah.
I said, okay, Jeff. He said, okay, thanks. I said, no. I said, it's my turn. He said, okay. I said, Jeff, let me explain something to you. First of all, I'm a grown-ass man. I said, I don't need nothing from the Rams. I said, you think I've been sitting around there waiting for the Rams to come back? I said, no, I have not been. I said, if I want something, I'll pay for it. I said, if y'all think I owe you something, send me a bill. I'll gladly pay for it. I said, Jeff, I said that my thing is that I want my football team to win. I said, you could get fired, Les Snead could leave, Kevin Demoff could leave, but I'll still be Eric Dixon of the Los Angeles Rams. I say, I want my football team to win. I support the players. I'm a player first, always. Then all of a sudden it changes. Well, Eric, we want you to come over, man. That's not what we want, blah, blah, blah. You know, we had Britney Spears come over last week, and I'm like, now I don't care nothing about no Britney. I'm not no offense against Britney Spears, but I'm talking about
She's
football.
She's not in the Hall of Fame playing for the Rams.
Isn't it true, before I let you go back, isn't it true that Jeff Fisher initially denied that he had spoken to you?
You know what? I don't know, because I didn't. One thing is, this had happened about 2 weeks prior. I didn't say anything at first. I didn't say anything about it. So, you know, on my show on 570, they kept teasing me about, man, you're on the Rams hit list. You know, you're the new number one enemy of the Rams. And I just laughed. And so they said it again the following week. And I said, man, I'm going to say this. I said, I got a call from someone in upper management. And they were like, huh? I said, yeah. And I said, well, I kind of said what they told me. They were shocked. And so I never said it was Jeff Fisher. And I'll say this much here. If Jeff Fisher said he never made the call, I'd have said he never made the call. I mean, that's just how I felt. I wanted to keep this really in-house, but I just got sick of hearing how I'm bad-mouthing my football team. I'm just telling the truth, what everyone else saw. I said it from week 2. I said the offense looks like a high school offense. I said the defense is doing all the work. And if I'm a defensive squad, I'm like, look, man, golly, help us out a little bit. Do something different. And that was it.
To paraphrase Wally Shawn from The Princess Bride,
I like
two
that.
major mistakes made throughout history. One, never get involved in a land war in Asia. And second, and only slightly behind that, is if the Los Angeles Rams are returning to LA for the first time in almost a half century, and your teams have stunk on ice for years, and you're the head coach of the Rams, maybe don't pick a fight with the greatest player in the history of the franchise. That's insanity. Particularly when, and Eric, you could talk to this, I just spent 5.5 years in LA. Let me tell you the difference between the New York market and the LA market when it comes to sports. And this goes to the difference between LA and even Philly or Boston or a place like that, the cold weather, kind of bitter, northeast cities that really are crazy about sports. If you stink in New York, they'll still pay attention to you. They'll just be cursing you out all day. There is pressure in New York City to win now. In LA, I wouldn't say it's pressure. I would say you have to deal with distractions. And if you don't handle those distractions, they're not going to kill you. They will forget about you.
Right.
They forgot about you. They'll go outside. The weather's nice. Anyway, I guess it's not a question. It's more of a statement. But I think I'm more outraged about what happened to you than you are.
Look, my thing is, and I said this to Jeff Fisher, I just want my team to win. I mean, I think the Los Angeles Rams fans deserve better. I mean, they came from St. Louis. The St. Louis fans deserve better. And to come to L.A. and put this kind of product on the field, it's not fair to the fans. I mean, I saw Coach Pete Carroll. It was, 4 weeks ago. He was leaving the field with his players. They made a big stand on the goal line. And he was like a kid, like excited. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I said, that's the kind of coach we need. We need something like that. I said, that's what we're missing. As a player, that's what you want.
With that being said, who would you like to see as the next head coach for the Los Angeles Rams?
Man, it's a wide variety of guys. I mean, Jim Harbaugh would be a choice, but like I said, I'm not writing that check. That's Stan Kroenke. John Gruden would be a choice for sure. I think he could come in. I like guys who have been head coaches before, but say that not one that's not been a head coach. I mean, I think Kyle Shanahan would be a possibility. I mean, he's an offensive coordinator. It's a lot of guys out there, but you got to have a coach that fits that team, the personality, the organization. I mean, and I say it starts at the top. I mean, the top has to be cleaned up before you can get a coach. I mean, that has to be.
Now, Les Snead, too? I mean, he's the one who, look at these draft picks that aren't hit.
Look at our draft picks. I mean, it's almost like this. It's almost like, okay, the bullseye is over here, and they're drafting over here. Like, I'm like, who's picking these guys? I mean.
And how much of that is development? Like, Mark Schlereth talks about that. People confuse drafting with development, not always the same thing. How much of that is missing in the draft? That's Snead. How much of that is lack of development, which would be under Fisher?
Well, it's a lot of it. I think, he's a defensive-minded coach. And our defense is good. I mean, but the defense is not going to last forever. They can't keep going at this rate. You have to have some offense, and that's what we're missing. We're missing on so many offensive players. They'll draft a guy in the 4th round and get it right. We'll draft a guy in the 1st round, 2 of them, and get it way wrong. Like, how are these guys playing? And I think that's where the disconnect is.
The bright side is you can only go up from here. But speaking of offense, you are the only first year to account for 1,800 rushing yards in your first NFL season. Ezekiel Elliott, he's on pace potentially to do something like that. We asked Twitter, should he win MVP? 51% said no. Your thoughts?
As I look at the MVP race, and I think I know you're not a Cowboy fan, neither am I.
That's right.
I'm a Steelers fan, like you.
There we go.
Growing up as
Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man.
But I'll say this much here. When I look at that football team, I've been saying it for a while, co-MVP, Zeke and Dak, they go great together. I mean, I think one couldn't exist without the other. I mean, and I believe that. So for me, I'd have to go co. I can't give it to Zeke and I can't give it to Dak solely.
I ain't mad at you. I'm just hoping that Jerry Jones messes it all up. I put Romo up in there. That'll make my day. I see it coming.
Eric, thank you so much for traveling all the way to be here with us, to have a Hall of Famer here in the house. We appreciate you and your honesty.
Man.
And don't think you're going to get anything from First Take.
Not even
Can I get something? Can I get a mug?